Windows 7 is the latest release of a Microsoft operating system. Codenamed Blackcomb and later Vienna, Windows 7 started development on January 30th, 2007 and released to the general public on October 22nd, 2009, less than 3 years after the release of its predecessor, Windows Vista. Unlike its predecessor, Windows Vista, which introduced a large number of new features, Windows 7 was intended to be a more focused, incremental upgrade to Windows line, with the goal of being compatible components which Windows Vista was not at the time. Windows 7 largely dispensed with the onslaught of word balloon warnings from the operating system about troubleshooting issues, which you'll later see present with these demonstrations that I have. Potential security problems, a new area called Action Center, a revamped version of Vista Security Center, queues up such alerts so you can deal with them at your convenience. Action Center does issue notification of its own from the system tray, but you can shut these off if you don't want them pestering you, unlike Vista. Windows 7 requires a 1 GHz processor or better for both a 32-bit and a 64-bit system. For the 32-bit, requires 1 GB of RAM compared to the 64-bit version, which requires 2 GB. The graphics card requires a DirectX 9 graphics processor with WDDM driver model 1.0 for Aerial. Hard disk drive free space for the 32-bit requires 16 GB of free disk space compared to the 64-bit which requires 20 GB of free disk space. An optical drive, DVD drive only to install from a DVD CD is required for Windows 7. Hi, my name is David Campbell and I'm going to demonstrate using VMware Workstation to install Windows 7. First, we're going to load up VMware Workstation, click New Virtual Machine. Now for the type of installation, we're going to click Typical and click Next. Since we do not have a CD to install Windows 7, we're going to use an ISO image. We're going to go to Installer Disk Image File, ISO, and then we're going to use the Windows 7 ISO that is easy to download from Microsoft website. Now since we have it all loaded up with the ISO, we're going to click Next. Now I'm going to enter the product key. Now we have to personalize Windows. We're just going to use my name, and I'm going to leave the password blank right now. I'm going to label the new virtual machine as Windows 7. Click Next. Now Windows 7 does have a recommended of 20 gigs, so we're just going to go to 20 gigs of hard drive space. Now we're going to click Next. Click Next. As you can see, our hard disk drive is 20 gigabytes. Our RAM is 1,024 megabytes. So we are good on the installation, on the recommendations from Microsoft website. So we're going to click Finish. And VMware is going to load up Windows 7. everything is just running smoothly for the installation. In just a few moments, we'll begin to run Windows 7 on our computer. And the complete installation will just take several minutes, up to 30 minutes for the complete installation. So we're just going to end this process right now and go into the rest of the setup and configurations of Windows 7. What we're going to do right now, first off in Windows 7, we're going to create a new user. So we're going to go to the Start menu, Control Panel, User Accounts and Family Safety, add or remove a user account, and we want to add a user account. And as you can see that I am the administrator here. What we're going to do right now is create a new account. And we'll call this person John Doe. And we're just going to set John Doe as a standard user. We don't want John Doe as an administrator, since this person would have full access to the computer. We just want him to have just basic access where he's not able to add or remove or change any settings that we set up when we install Windows 7. So let's create the account. And John Doe is now a standard user. And this is how we create a user, and unfortunately we don't have any type of user groups for Windows 7. But we have completed what we needed to do by adding a user on Windows 7. Now with Windows 7, about file structure and management. Unlike Windows Vista, Windows 7 has a file called Libraries, which uses the My Documents and My Public Documents, and I will demonstrate how to use this. So we'll go to Documents, and then as you can see, it has Libraries, Documents, Music, Pictures, and Videos, and it has that all together instead of just separately like Windows Vista and Windows XP. And this right here is where we can have our certain files located at just for ourselves, or if we'd like, as you can see, Document Library includes 2 locations. We're just going to glance at this. As you can see, it's My Documents and Public Documents. And let's just glance at Public Documents. And there is nothing on the Public Documents. Now with Public Documents, we can have a network, and all the other users would be able to access the public documents, as well as users on this desktop. That is one nice feature of Windows 7. Other features is just with, you can see with, let's scroll down. So we go to Start, and then My Computer, or just Computer. And you can see the hard drive right here.
It has the preferred logs, program files, users, and then Windows. Windows would have all the drivers, all the system files that needs to run Windows 7. Let us just go back, and then has the users with all the public. It could have John Doe, which is not here right now. As you can see, my access to access my files is locked right now, so any user who would try to access my documents would be blocked out unless I gave them access to it. And as you can see, public documents are readily available here. And program files, these are what is loaded with if you're installing a new program. As you can see, the VMware, DVD Maker, Common Files, Windows NT, Windows Photo Viewer, and various other programs that would be installed would or should be located right here. And that is the demonstration on file management and structure.